There's a new sheriff in town-tooine, and it's our favorite sheriff, Timothy Olyphant. Hot off the news late last week that Deadwood and Justified star Timothy Olyphant is joining the cast of The Mandalorian Season 2, brand new reports on Tuesday reveal who exactly he might be playing. Thanks to our pals over at Slash Film and potentially many now dead Bothan spies, it appears that Timothy Olyphant will be wearing Boba Fett's iconic green armor in The Mandalorian. Now, this has yet to be confirmed officially by Lucasfilm or Disney, but if this is true, it has some major implications for the Star Wars universe. Now, the biggest question on the minds of some has to be, does this mean that Timothy Olyphant is playing Boba Fett? Well, no, it does not. Because according to The Hollywood Reporter, the original Jango Fett, Temuera Morrison, is returning to the Star Wars universe in order to play Jango's adult clone son / Sarlacc barf, Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 2. So why would Timothy Olyphant be in Boba Fett's armor? Was Boba really just two clones in a trench coat this whole time? Sadly, no. Rather, this all but confirms that Olyphant is going to be playing a character that we've long suspected might show up in the Mando sophomore season, Cobb Vanth. Now, who in the hell is Cobb Vanth, you might be asking in your very real speaking voice? Well, allow us to explain. First introduced in the Aftermath trilogy of novels which document the fall of the Empire following the return of the Jedi, Cobb Vanth is a former slave on Tatooine who decides to become a sheriff to help protect people from the crime syndicates who seize power following Jabba the Hutt's demise. A sci-fi sheriff sounds like pretty much a pitch-perfect role for Timothy Olyphant. I mean, we've seen him rock that sheriff vibe in the past with Deadwood, and in the present with Justified, and while Star Wars technically takes place a long time ago, I mean, come on, he's basically a future sheriff now. He's a literal time cop! But it gets even better for Star Wars fans, because Cobb Vanth wears a set of Mandalorian armor that he got from Jawas who scavenged it next to the corpse of a Sarlacc. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like Boba Fett's armor to us. Because, how many Mandalorians die from Sarlacc attacks each year on Tatooine? Is that like the vending machine crushing 8 people every year? Or I don't know. How many? Is that like a common cause of death? Now, with the news that Temuera Morrison is going to be playing Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 2, we've wondered if the show will deal with Boba Fett reclaiming his signature armor from Cobb Vanth. And now it seems very likely that will indeed be the case. And if all of this proves to be true, and we say that because we've still yet to hear from Lucasfilm or Disney about any of this, then perhaps we've already seen Cobb Vanth in the first season of The Mandalorian. If you'll recall, Chapter 5, The Gunslinger, took place on a post-Return of the Jedi Tatooine, and based on the Stormtrooper helmets on spikes and droids in the Mos Eisley Cantina, it's clear that some major changes have been made. It's almost like there's a new sheriff in town. Now, this episode takes place around the time that Cobb Vanth is doing his whole lawman thing, at least according to the Aftermath novels, and also in the end of that episode, we hear a familiar jingle of spurs as an armored figure walks up to the body of Fennec Shand. At the time this episode came out, we wondered if that was Boba Fett or Cobb Vanth in the armor, and with this new report, it seems far likelier to be Vanth. Which means we wouldn't be surprised to see Boba Fett confront Vanth about stealing his armor. I mean, he'd certainly be justified. But don't expect this to be the bulk of Season 2, because the original report that said Boba Fett was going to show up this season also mentioned Boba Fett would only have a small role to play. And considering how contained the first season was, it wouldn't be a shock if everything involving Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett happens in the span of a single episode, even though I'd love to see it stretch out a little bit longer. The bulk of Season 2 is likely going to revolve around Din Djarin dealing with the sinister Moff Gideon, who had a major hand in the extermination of his fellow Mandos, and now has his mitt Gideons on the legendary Mandalorian weapon, the Darksaber. But considering all the other casting rumors floating around, like the possibility of seeing a live-action Ahsoka Tano or a Bo-Katan, having Boba Fett make a minor appearance doesn't preclude Morrison from playing another fan-favorite clone character, Captain Rex. After all, rumor has it that Morrison is playing more than one role this season, as we've mentioned on a previous episode of Nerdist News. Now, that said, more Timothy Olyphant is always a good thing. Whether it's his Clint Eastwood-like guttural rasp, which is perfect for a western like this, or just playing up his comedic side like we've seen on The Office and Santa Clarita Diet, Timothy Olyphant in Star Wars feels like a match made in heaven. We'll just have to wait and see if and how they use him. At this point, the only thing we do know for certain is that we can't wait for Season 2 of The Mandalorian to come out on Disney Plus later this year. But in the meantime, tell me, what do you folks think? Are you excited for a showdown between Boba Fett and Cobb Vanth? Is Boba Fett actually going to have something worthwhile to do for a change? And what other characters could we possibly see show up this season? Let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? And if you want to get notified every time we go live with a show or drop a new video, hit that little bell down below. That way you're going to be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world. In the meantime, stay safe, be healthy, and have a great day. Bye-bye!